Today, I sat down with Saumyadeep Mukherjee, founder of Dashverse, and Anmol Chawla, founding engineer at Dashverse. And I wanted to, before showing you the interview, podcast, whatever, to tell you a little bit about Dashverse. So, Dashverse does video generation in AI, and they have a consumer app called Dashreels, which is short form drama, reels but serialized. And their ambition is to make it um, AI generated. So, to that end, there's Dashreels and Framio, which is the studio for storytellers. And then there's Dashtoon, which was the OG version of comics. And of course, there are studios. So, as they call themselves, a full stack entertainment company for creating AI powered content or mixed content. In this talk, we talk a lot about what they're working on, what kind of problems they're solving, and the state of the business of short form video content. So it makes for quite compelling viewing, and I hope you enjoy it. So here we are. I have with me today Saumyadeep Mukherjee, founder and CTO of Dashverse, previously known as Dashtoon. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll get to that rebranding later in the conversation. And Anmol Chawla, who I'm literally meeting for the first time today, but great to have you on the podcast, Soumyadeep and Anmol. Anmol is a founding engineer, you can say, at Dashtoon slash Dashverse, and so this is a good time also to kind of figure out what the founding engineer role actually does. So without much further ado, welcome Soumyadeep, Anmol. I would love it if you guys can talk a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll come to uh, the founding story of Dashtoon, Dashverse. What do I call it now? Dashverse? It's official.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dashverse is official.
All right. Great. So
I think you can start, Samiti.
Cool. I'm Saumyadeep. Now founder CTO at Dashverse. I started my career, or rather, most of my time in life I have spent on robotics actually, specifically computer vision for robotics. From there, I joined as a software engineer in my first firm in 2016. Graduated out of Kharagpur. Um, I did infrastructure there, a lot of it, learned everything infrastructure there because that's what the company needed. Very quickly wanted to go back to robotics, so I became a founding engineer at this startup called Morphle Labs, where we built digital pathology, hardware, software, AI, all of that to make cancer diagnosis super easy.
mhm.
Fun fact: I can look at breast tissues and actually say what stage of cancer there is.
Nice, useful
Uh,
skill to have, I'm sure.
yeah, post that, I went to Udan to
Mm-hmm.
start their warehouse robotics team. I did that. I started the warehouse robotics team, and because I was slightly early in the Udan days, I was pulled into all things infrastructure also because that's what the business needed too. And yeah,
That's super interesting. How far did you get with the warehouse robotics?
so we did this for 3 years with like four products we launched. Each are at a different stage of their life cycle. Some are in production being used even today
Mm-hmm.
in some warehouses, which is, for example, one device that we made is measuring length, breadth, height, and weight of the parcels. And why that was unique to Udan, because Udan did a very unorganized set of parcels.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do cuboidal, cubical, and type of measurements very well, but very hard to do like a, I don't know, chair packed up and all of this. So
Right.
those are the things that we saw. That scaled well. We were also building goods to person systems, similar
Mm-hmm.
to what a lot of people like Geek Robotics, Gray Orange did slash do.
Okay.
We did that for the pharma warehouse, but Oran shut down pharma while I was there. So that we closed off. We also did a very interesting thing on quality process and quality improvements of on fresh supply chain, where you would take images to see the quality of the fresh foods. and analyze them, and also solve the process as to when the measurement is happening with hardware, because it is a physical thing that you have to do. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, three products were at decent. They went to production, saw some traction. Two of One of them is still in production, and rest the two shut down because the verticals were shut down.
Understood. Understood. And you're doing infra kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, then in parallel, cloud cost became a major thing at Udan, and I was given this charter to try to solve it. We brought my Then when I started took up the problem, we were at like around more than 2 million a month.
Hmm.
Got it down to close to half a mil. I think till my
Nice.
time it was half a mil.
Okay.
I think it has reduced way further since then also.
All right.
Yeah. So
Nice.
did that, and that involved tons of things. We had a data center set up. Set up like 5 colos across India, and then set up things there. Moved out of Mixpanel, moved out of Cloudinary,
Mm.
tons of things that we had to do to get there.
Amazing. The reason I'm actually double clicking on your work history is because Dashverse is quite a pivot for you, right? So because there's a lot of artistry involved over here, and there's a lot of machine learning, data science involved here. So a question arises: how come you decided to start Dashverse?
So there are one part from a technical standpoint, computer vision was my specialization most of my life, and
Hmm.
even today, eh, computer vision is the core of how image generation or video generation happens in the AI part. So even in cancer diagnosis, the computer vision is the part that I used to do myself. But of course, Dashverse involves a lot more. There's a lot of creative thinking, and that actually came from my co-founders. One of the co-founders, Lalit, is my school friend. I know him since 2008 now, 8 or 7, I think, and I've lived in this very house with him. Now he's married, lives somewhere else. I live
Uh-huh.
with my partners,
Okay.
and I've lived most of my Bangalore life with him.
Hmm.
And they were early in Pocket FM. They were the founding marketers and founding content people at Pocket FM.
Right.
And they saw the journey of Pocket FM, how fast they grew. I think my sense is Pocket FM is doing close to a 300 million ARR right now. And they were early there, and they saw the journey. They understood the content space, they understood the media space really well, and we realized the thesis that media has always been disrupted from a demand side innovation. For example, streaming was a demand side innovation, which is how consumers consume media, or uh, distribution like mobiles was a demand side innovation, how people were consuming from TVs to mobiles and all of that. What we believed is that AI can bring in a supply side innovation, and which is the next disruption that can happen in the media space. Like when more creators come in and more creating technology gets democratized, that is the thesis that we started with, and we wanted to build a media business. We started with comics first
Hmm.
because that was the technology that I felt that was possible then.
Okay. So the tune part of it was always meant to be a stepping stone, or has it evolved organically as you've been on this journey?
It was definitely always a stepping stone.
Hmm.
We were not we personally we are had no emotional connect with the format of tunes.
Okay.
The connect was with the format was with storytelling and make it easy and democratize. And tunes was always a stepping stone for us.
Okay. Interesting to know. And Anmol would love to hear from you as well. Your story and what led you here. Where did you meet Saumyadeep?
All right.
Uh,
So I graduated back in 2020 from SRM IST in Chennai. And right out of college, I got lucky to get placed at Udan and started my career from Udan. I joined back in January 2020, about a month after Somadeep joined as an intern.
okay.
And the team I was placed in or working with was the local logistics, that is the logistics teams which take part of delivering within a city
Mm-hmm.
and solving problems across that. At that time, that team was like about four people, including me.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was to figure out how can we make it more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And over the time, we were able to figure out a lot of efficiencies. For example, one of the problems that we would see in our local hubs was that folks would spend about 2 to 3 hours just figuring out where to deliver and how the driver should route their delivery so that they start in a pattern and end back near the hub so that they can come back.
These are
And
such
working with,
fascinating problems, man. It's
yeah,
ludicrous. So, uh, how far did you get? Because if
we
I
actually
remember
got till
my
the,
high school physics or high school mathematics, these are what NP hard and no.
yeah,
So how
yeah.
far did you get?
We actually got till automating the entire set of it
Okay.
with certain corrections required by human operators depending upon the type of access that is there. So, for example, while Maps has great main road connectivity, side roads or the width of a road is never mapped out. So when
Yeah.
you're delivering via tempos or via these Bolero 8-ton vehicles which we have, they can't fit into those narrow channels. So that always required some manual correction. But as far as the impact of this, we were actually able to bring down that entire 3 hour process to about 15 to 20 minutes,
Nice.
which
Nice.
saved us a lot of time in our ingestion as well as getting the vehicles ready.
Nice. Don't get me
At
started
this,
on Indian road design and address and mapping in general. That whole scheme. I used to run this bus company, and it was like
Mhm.
it doesn't work because how can you have a road where missing one turn adds 45 minutes to your journey? Like that's
Oh
just
yeah.
absurd, right? And on this side of the street or that side of the street, the directions are completely different. So, like I said, don't get me started.
Towards the end of it actually, so whenever you deliver, right, the delivery persons, you would have noticed all have an app.
Yeah,
So towards the end of it, we actually were making our own parallel map kind of infrastructure
right.
where we were mapping every location that a driver goes through with
Yeah,
points
yeah.
to see what are the serviceable routes that actually exist on ground.
It's crazy.
So
Anyway, go
yeah,
on.
that is my journey in Udan for with this entire logistics business. At the same time, Udan had this amazing thing that they had open boards for infrastructure, for contributing to infra, because at Udan, the idea was that infra is owned by everyone. It
Hmm.
is not restricted to a team, and they're only gatekeepers who ensure that stuff which is going out is actually correct. So I got started with that. I was actually interested in infrastructure from long back, even in college. When working on certain projects and startups, I would be the one handling VMs, deploying stuff on it. So here, that is where I actually first met Samiri. Would ping him quite a bit at night at 2 or 3 a.m., figuring out what I'm doing wrong, if something's right. And that is where I learned a lot of what I know about infra currently, managing Kubernetes, managing systems, monitoring, telemetry, and how it figures into everything. Yeah, so that was where I spent most of my time in infra in Iran. And yeah, finally, towards 2022, somebody came up once and said that this is what you're going to do. So at the time, he said we would do Dashtoon, which is comics. And initially, I was quite hesitant because one, I had what, like about 2.5 years of experience back then. And it was quite early in my career. So this would be a massive, massive risk. Alongside the fact that we were, I think, at the peak of the tech hiring boom, which was going on.
This was, remind me,
And
what did you say? What date was it? 22.
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
2022 December.
Ah, the very peak. It all
Yeah,
went downhill from there.
yeah. So at that time, that was going on, uh, and in fact, from my family side, like it's always that you have to be stable in life.
Hmm.
So Udan comparatively was very stable.
Yeah.
So initially, I was very hesitant, but the more I talked to Saumyadeep, the more I learned about generative AI itself. It looked like a massive field was opening up, like a shift in the way content would be produced or actually even distributed.
It must have
And
been like when I think of Gen AI, it thrills me, like the possibilities when you see that almost all software has been rendered legacy by this new technology. Like just entirely new forms of software are going to come up. But so was that a difficult decision for you to leave the stability of Udan, which I think later turned out to be not so stable? Am I right?
That is true. So by that time, it was a bit shaky.
Yeah,
It was still better than, say, an early stage startup would have been.
right.
But yeah, there are factors such as joining an early stage startup, which may or may not work out. Then overall, there's a reduction in pay, which I think at my experience level was okay to take at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the general, and then the increase. So the stress or the amount of learning, that the uncertainty that would be there would be much, much higher.
Plus, Somideep said, I'm the guy you call at 3 a.m. So, like, you owe me,
Yeah.
right?
Now he's the guy. I am not.
Okay. So, great. And so we come to this. Sorry, give me 1 second. I will uh, adjust the view. This is absurd, actually, but so now we come to the point where you all have started Dashtoon, right? And what were the early days like? Because I don't see an artist over here already. Is there an artist, a comics guy?
No.
Like, so what were you all thinking? How did you all imagine that you all would get a hold of this space and create amazing comics? And what was that thought process like?
So early on, I think, okay, very interestingly, instead of going step by step, the first thing we did was to try to build what our vision was, that
Mm-hmm.
you create on your phone
Mm-hmm.
and you consume on the phone, and
Mm-hmm.
it's TikTok from day one.
Okay.
That is what we tried to create actually.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and we had actually, after 6 7 people, the next 4 people were artists that we hired.
Okay.
uh, right. And the first thing was we started with that, and there we were doing this for 4 months when we realized, dude, tech is not at a place where you can make good consumable content. Anyone can make good consumable content, that that people will consume, right?
Okay.
And we quickly moved out of, very quickly, like I think December, January, February, March, April. By March, December we started. By March,
Hmm.
we actually completely moved out of the creation on the phone aspect.
Okay. And moved it to?
Web. Started creating a web tool, and we also started creating a very, very professional user tool where
Okay.
there will be 100 buttons, 100 features, 100 things,
Okay.
because the uh, our thought process shifted from anyone can make, say, that something kuch to ban jaye, basically.
Right.
Right. Let's get to something should start working, and then we'll start to solve for anyone again.
One of the things I love to see is how my websites or applications looked in their early iterations. Do you have any screenshots from that time?
Yeah, I actually have a very interesting visualization of that. That is super cool. Let me show this. I have this entire doc of technology at Dashtoon, and it has this cool visualization. Um, let's quickly share my screen here. So very interestingly, this is a GIF that you're seeing,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is the first version,
Okay.
if you see, and then these are just versions. I think
Uh-huh.
I can't slow this down because it's a GIF,
Okay.
but there are 4 versions here, or 5
Understood.
versions
And this
that
is
keeps
the
changing.
okay. This must be the last one.
Yeah, that was Dashtoon Studio, which is the last one, which is how
Okay.
it looks right now.
Amazing.
Uh,
Amazing. And what were you using now? Like you're getting into image generation and problems of character consistency. Who was solving those problems? What was going on there?
yeah,
And
initially,
if you have any thoughts on how the models have been evolving, like that would also be interesting to know.
yeah, so initially, like it was me, Anmol, and another one of our early engineers. We were trying to solve character consistency. That was the holy grail of generative AI problems that
Mm-hmm.
we had to tackle and we had to solve for it.
Mm-hmm.
And very interestingly, it is still not solved 100% by any other product that I have
Mm-hmm.
seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we did this from, and since then we have been at it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've pushed the bar on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me and Mol and another guy. We used to be at this, and we were none of us were actually interestingly ML engineers. I was
Hmm.
a computer vision engineer that
Right.
took conventional computer vision.
Right.
ML
Which is about
had,
reading. Computer
yeah,
vision is about reading the thing, and here you're
yeah,
talking about transformers putting out stuff. So it's,
correct.
to my untrained mind, it seems like a different branch of.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and even the process and the thought process was slightly different. I remember me and Mol, and that time also Nirant
Mm-hmm.
was my friend, is my
Mm-hmm.
friend,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to guide us on how to just structure the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were just throwing GPUs at it. That
Okay.
okay, like let's try this, and eventually we started getting a sense of
How,
what is
where are you
okay.
getting the GPUs from? I think there was a huge global constraint. Actually, thank God the crypto market crashed. I remember at it's. I mean, it crashed. There was a at Nvidia we used to have this huge problem that GPUs are just not available. And
Yeah.
then 22 end the crypto markets also suffered, and suddenly you could get GPUs again. But then everyone started demanding GPUs for Gen AI.
Yeah.
So was that a problem? Did you have a issue there?
It it was a problem, but interestingly, because I had run infrastructure at a unicorn,
Hmm.
I had the right connects to
No way.
pull in some favors.
That's
Like
crazy.
so, yeah. So I had a like so for yeah, in like at least in India, getting what if something is even remotely available, like I could get that at that point of time because just I was there before.
Okay. And I guess there must have been some evolution in your infra as well, right? So today I see on your job posting, it says our cluster of H100, H200. So that has also, you got
Yeah.
your own data center now,
Yeah,
or
yeah, 100%.
on infra?
So, like, first, of course, it was all on cloud
Mm-hmm.
because we were not sure what to do,
Yep.
right? The moment our seed funding hit,
Mm-hmm.
which was around 4.8, 4.9,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I come from the school of thought that research cannot be capped on cannot be capped on dollar value. Basically, experimentation cannot be capped on dollar value.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion has always been that I will set aside a budget and get every round. I will set aside a budget and get as many GPUs I can
Mm-hmm.
within that budget, and I will
Mm-hmm.
commit for it for like whatever time frame I can, like
Mm-hmm.
1 year, 2 year.
Interesting. Interesting.
So an extreme of that is just buying GPUs,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the first seed round when I had bought 4H100 in a machine
Mm-hmm.
which we own.
Mm-hmm.
I bought on a capex in US. It is
Mm-hmm.
sitting in a colo. I
Mm-hmm.
just give rental now,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the biggest purchase of my life till then. Like
Okay.
kuch 160K type of a purchase,
Okay.
right? But I did that,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped a lot because now that you purchased it, you cannot ration out that when to bring it up, when not to bring it up. You don't have
Yes.
to rationalize
Yes.
cost benefit
Very
analysis every
interesting.
time.
Very interesting. Okay. So you're committed. Like you're like the
Yeah,
answer to this problem lies beyond so many hours of GPU compute, right? So we're
yeah,
just going to commit to that and we see what happens. If we die before that, if we fail, that's
yeah,
fine. Game over.
yeah.
But there's no way to win this game without committing so many hours on GPU. So let's just do it. That's actually a remarkable decision, Soumyadeep.
Yeah, yeah. So I did that,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, I think we kept experimenting tons of. I think one of the KPIs I have for now, we call it research team, is the GPU should not be underutilized. Do what
It has to be
find
running 24/7. Okay, interesting.
like do whatever could run any experiment, but
Yeah,
I need insights is what I push hard on.
very
That get
nice.
any insight, but
And so,
just keep
meanwhile,
doing
how was
something.
Anmol dealing with all of this ML, DS, and Gen AI, and what was that curve
Uh,
like? And I want to also, if you have any advice for engineers who are obviously the demand for this skill set, right, is much higher than the supply in the market. So, if an engineer is looking to grow the skill set, what were the things that you did? And of course, the best thing is to just come and work with you guys at Dashverse.
Definitely.
But apart from that, in generic advice,
Mhm. So I think one of the things is that uh, there's tons of resources out there, and there are courses which offer excellent in-depth understanding of the basics, such as fast AI courses, which are there.
mhm,
And apart from that, if like typically today, you're not doing as when you talk about an AI engineer, you're not down in the weeds or dealing with the math as such.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of abstractions which have already come up, which allow you to actually experiment faster,
Mm-hmm.
try to fine tune your own changes and
Mm-hmm.
apply them in infrastructure or in your inference pipelines.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anyone who's looking to actually get into this field,
Mm-hmm.
I'd advise them to first try just experimenting. Like there's no dearth of models which are available or freely available resources which allow you to experiment
Mm-hmm.
and just start playing with it. And as you get more proficient with it, as you understand more of what's happening, you can start going deeper into the layers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this one interesting story from when we were back trying to fine tune our own model.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time in my life I had ever done this sort of stuff.
Okay.
And we were trying to fine tune Stable Diffusion, which had just come out. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it was 1.4
Mm-hmm.
on our images.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out with pictures of our co founders. One of them is Sanidhya.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you fine tune, you actually tell the model to recognize a token as the what how should like a variable, like that
Mm-hmm.
is what you will call to create a likeliness of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I named the token as sand.
Mm-hmm.
Now at that time I was thinking from a very deterministic thought that sand is a variable. I invoke it, it will put that image out.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
So the way Stable Diffusion works, it tokenizes the word.
Mm-hmm.
So instead what I got was our co-founder standing in the desert or on the beach always.
Okay.
And the realization came later when we were discussing with Niran that, hey, dude, sand is literally a word which is very popular. You cannot
Damn.
use regular words. So, actually, interestingly, the one of the words which is used very frequently is the name which you're going by called SVS.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a token which is not indexed a lot.
Are
So
you
all of our
kidding?
models now. No, I'm not. That is how all of our models
I'm
are doing
famous
now.
in AI land.
Yeah.
Damn, they're gonna be so thrilled to meet me. Great. So the AI already knows who its friend is.
Yeah.
Cool. That's so. How much math did you need to study for this?
Not much, apart
Okay.
from the basics of understanding, say, just the one time understanding of how diffusion is even taking place or the process.
Right.
There's not a lot of math involved in just AI engineering as such,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're going right into the depth as an ML engineer. Like there's now a distinction between AI and an ML engineer.
Yeah.
And unless you're actually pre-training or rather, that's it called today, the actual training of the foundation models,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really need to understand that much math.
Okay.
What you need to grasp or grok are the concepts behind the way the pipeline is working.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, understanding. So there's like, for example, what is chain of thought? How do you prompt? What do thinking models
Yeah,
actually do? Stuff like that. And do you read papers?
we did. So, in fact, I've gone through the earliest LLM, the Stable Diffusion paper, which was
Mm-hmm.
out there,
Okay.
the deep dive of the system.
Okay.
And in fact, I believe we also have within our research team, at least we used to, of every bi-weekly paper reading sessions where there was a paper which would be there. Everyone would read it and then either sort of like how you do a book club, you
Yep.
would talk about the parts you found interesting or the parts you could not understand. And we would run that internally within our own team.
Okay. Amazing. Super. Great. So now I guess a little bit we can talk about your philosophy, Saumyadeep. I see two ex-Udan people. I know Udan had a very distinctive way to run the organization. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? How you set your teams up and what it takes to succeed at Dashverse?
Yeah, I think very, very inspired from Udan primarily. Like one of the things, and one of the reasons I had joined Udan was also because of the thought process that engineers own end-to-end problems,
Mm-hmm.
not the code,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that resonated a lot with me
Mm-hmm.
as an engineer myself, and that's when I joined Udan, and I think have tried to continue the approach, basically what we call product engineering, and before that, I think there is forward deployed engineering or
Mm-hmm.
a mix of that, whatever
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people want to call it these days. But
Mm-hmm.
the idea is that engineers own output metrics. They don't own systems. They don't own code. They own output metrics. And we decide what the metric has to be. They decide what the
Understood.
metric has to be
Okay.
based on their understanding. And
Okay.
then they run with it, iterate with it. And that is full ownership. It's not that you write code and then you deliver code to a product manager, and then you deliver product manager delivers the item, the problem to a business person.
Right.
That's not how we. That's not
And
how our.
yeah, you are judged on how many bugs QA caught in your this thing.
Yeah,
There are
yeah,
some
yeah.
places where the engineering is judged on how many bugs were found by QA,
Right.
not by how much engagement
Yep.
improved, right? So yeah, I hear that. Though I would say this used to be simpler to do in the world that was much simpler, right? For example, you're writing B2B SaaS. There's a the stack is very small. You're writing Gen AI, mobile creation studio, like the specializations involved are quite intense. So how far could you take this? And also you have ML, like the stack for you is like infra,
Right.
ML ops, data science, ML engineering, Flutter. I believe
Right.
you've taken a call on Flutter. The studio, there's a lot of things. So how far is this philosophy working for you, and how do you set up your teams?
Right. So, right. So this is something that I've been thinking a lot about, and I brainstorm a lot with Amod, who inspired me to then push this. But one of the things that I have
So
learned,
for those
yeah,
who didn't get the reference, Amod is Amod Malvia, the founder of Udan. Right.
uh,
He's a phenomenal engineer and a great thinker in terms of organization, philosophy, and whatnot. Anyway, please continue.
yeah, I think the way I am converging to is that it is still driven by outcomes and
Mm-hmm.
outputs,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the the even specializations are driven by outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
but you define the outcomes differently. For
Okay.
example, the way I have been thinking about our current org is there are three kinds of engineers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a product engineer
Mm-hmm.
whose outcome is a product metric like
Mm-hmm.
retention, acquisition, whatever,
Monetization. Yeah.
engagement, monetization, all of these,
Right.
right? There is the second kind of engineer, which is a software engineer
Mm-hmm.
who needs to own an outcome of a software engineering. For
Mm-hmm.
example, let's say for mobile engineering, just how FPS of improving the FPS of my of my shows or the video player is
Okay.
one outcome that they own, right?
Okay.
My
Okay.
ANRs and crashes are the outcome that they own,
Right.
right? And we keep like a lot of thought goes around that whenever we pick something, how do we think about the outcome of this? I don't want to
So these
do
sound more
things.
like platform roles, like mobile
Yeah,
platform is like building
correct.
the infrastructure which the product engineers will use to deliver
Yep.
product. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's on the mobile side. On the research side, again, it's an more outcome
Mm-hmm.
that, okay, we decide that, okay, is uh, this model is doing X number on our
Mm-hmm.
benchmark of, let's say, aesthetic pleasingness, right? So
Mm-hmm.
first we design the benchmark,
Mm-hmm.
then and then you chase the number in some fashion. So the
Mm-hmm.
outcome is achieving the number or a
Okay.
target. The
Understood.
outcome is not training models. The outcome is
Understood.
achieving the target. So
Understood.
that's how like I have been thinking along how to build this that has to be tied to an outcome.
That's amazing. The in the early days, I didn't know any of this, and when I was running our bus, my bus network, I suddenly stumbled on this that every project needs a success metric and a failure metric. Like,
Yeah,
what is your failure condition for this? And once I grokked that, then projects became like cattle, not pets, if you get the
right.
reference, right? You
Yeah,
could just
yeah,
take any project, you could say, this is the success metric, this is the failure metric. You hit either one of them, boom, project
yep,
ends. Learnings
yeah,
taken, iterate, make a new project based on the learnings from the old one. Otherwise, you kind
yep,
of get trapped in this no man's land of not making progress, not able to give up,
yep,
etc.
yep,
Cool. I see some
yeah,
nice processes in play at
Yeah.
Dashverse.
So one of the things that I do very heavily in our rounds, our hiring rounds, is that there is at least one round
Mm-hmm.
among the three or four that we'll have where there's a discussion around a North Star,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I very strongly expect people to be able to define a North Star or reason a North Star
Mm-hmm.
that they are coming up with for anything. It's not about me, my product, my project, whatever. Like, for example, some interview recently, someone said, I love to watch, I don't know, I love to play some game, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then, like, we reasoned through that what is a North Star for some problem that he wants to solve in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then that reasoning and the discussion around the North Star that you want to chase, that often gives a lot of insight on how deeply a person understands a problem.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, I think we've talked a lot. I'm sure viewers would love to see what you guys build. So, a demo of both the consumer and creator side, I think would be is due, I guess.
Please let me know that if you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. So this is the app that we have currently out on Play Store and App Store.
Mm-hmm.
We recently crossed, I believe, about 5 million downloads on this, and this is called Dashreels. And the entire idea of this platform is to allow you to consume content fast in shorter intervals. For example, we have got a lot of shows which have each episode of being 1 to 2 minutes each, so
Okay.
that whenever you get time to watch, you can actually watch a few episodes, continue with your work, and then come back when you get time. So let me show you first a video that we have actually made.
But you're
This
saying all of the
is
content here was generated using your studio.
No, actually not.
Okay.
There's one which I'm going to play right now,
Okay.
and we are like this. We are still in the process of ironing out the pipelines that we use
Okay.
to generate content at scale.
Okay.
But there's one show which we have figured out, which we have actually created and launched.
Okay.
And let me just play a few seconds of it,
Okay.
and then I can take you through the rest of the app as well.
Absolutely.
So it's called Raftar, and this is, if you have heard about F1 recently,
Yep.
the F1 movie
Yep.
which Apple made, this
Yep.
is in a similar vein to that.
Okay.
Do we hear the sound?
I'm not hearing sound.
Is it coming now?
No.
Slightly.
I don't think every channel of sound is coming.
Yeah, it's coming from my earphones. I'm not sure if it supports like that. Will need to allow me to share.
Why don't you send me the video of this and I will put it in the, if you can send
Yeah,
me the,
actually, yeah, I'll actually send you the show itself,
yeah.
like one or two of the episodes that you can put.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, you can see the visuals, like the fidelity or the way we have made it. While it is a bit obvious that it's made from AI, the amount of progress that has been made over the past 2 years in the quality is just astounding, to be honest.
What are you using? Models are you using on the back? Is that FAL? Using it through FAL? Like, what's the infrastructure behind this?
So our image stack is fairly in-house. Like we have fine-tuned image models to
Like
achieve
base
the
stable diffusion and
yeah, like flux at this moment. But
okay.
the yeah, so we our entire core technology is driven through images because that
Mm-hmm.
is what we started with even in Dashtoon days,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we spend a lot of time giving consistency of aesthetics, of characters, to our images. And yeah, so most of the heavy lifting is done on the image level,
Uh-huh.
where we spend like character consistency, style consistency, and control. So
Okay.
control is something that we have spent a fair amount of time on, because when you want to do storytelling, you
Uh-huh.
want full control as to how your composition happens,
Okay.
right? So that within this, my image generation does most of the heavy lifting, and then we use like third-party models for animating those images.
Okay.
Images is fully Image stack is fully in-house.
Okay.
Our video models, we use like every video model out there. We have a very detailed benchmarking process to what to use when.
Okay.
And yeah, that's primarily our secret
And
sauce.
is there another AI that watches the videos and corrects
But
them if there are errors or
no, that's a human right now, not really.
okay.
So
Okay.
interestingly, the image and video understanding model capabilities of LLMs are not as good yet to
Okay.
be able to point out the nuances in the errors that happen.
Okay.
Like very recently, I am in this process of building this pipeline where at least character consistency my can be figured out from a checker model or
Mm-hmm.
whatever critique model. It's not as easy. It's not like I have spent enough GPU hours on it, and it's not solved yet. We're getting there.
Question for you. Was all of this made in your studio or then did you export stuff to like DaVinci and do or After Effects and do anything over there? Like for example,
So
the rotation and
So every image and the video generation from there is made on the studio.
okay.
The post production,
Mm-hmm.
for example, fixing the audio, syncing the audio,
Okay.
transition from scene one to scene two,
Okay.
these happen outside the studio right now on
o-
After Effects.
Okay. Interesting. It's amazing, man. It's actually pretty freaking cool. And who made this video? You said I we were talking earlier, you mentioned that there are many
Correct.
creators that also work out of like y'all are dog fooding pretty heavily, right?
Yep.
So who
Yep.
who made this video? What's that?
Yeah, it's probably a team of around, this show would be around 10-15 people,
Okay.
which involves starts from script writers.
Mm-hmm.
Script writers will write the script is the major hook that the user that controls the storytelling.
Okay.
Then there are from script writers, then there are AI artists who do
Mm-hmm.
the image generation and the animation part. And then there are a few post-production artists who do the video editing part. So there are three high-level teams that work to get this out.
Understood. And can you give an idea for how disruptive this tech is? Like how much would this cost? Forget about
Yeah.
like the quality difference and the obvious AI nature of it. But how much would this cost to shoot, and how much does this cost to make in
So
Dashverse?
this, what you saw, right? Being able to shoot the kind of cars that we have seen,
Right.
the kind of clothing that you are seeing, and
Mm-hmm.
the kind of things, this would cost in India with Indian prices of art, creatives and actors also, would cost easily around 50 lakhs.
Yeah.
Easily, if not more,
Okay.
if
Yeah.
not more.
Yeah.
Because it's 70-minute or 80-minute content, right?
Okay.
So it will cost 50 lakhs. I think us, despite not being able to yet
Wait,
uh,
wait, 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 wait. It's less. It's less. The budgets for a Netflix show or Prime show, which you might imagine, is not like 70 minutes is like one and a half, maybe two episodes. And their budgets are in crores per episode. Of course, there's
No, but so in micro drama, people have optimized the shit out of production. So
okay.
people have. If you're in Bombay, right? You should. I think your wife in this is in this industry. I think
Yep,
every
yep.
production studio in Bombay right now is doing micro drama live action at this
Okay,
moment.
okay,
From
okay. No,
everything
I was
I
just
hear.
thinking Buddha International Circuit or whatever, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's what the asset costs of this is very high,
Hmm.
which becomes completely zero.
Yeah.
But if just the people cost, it'll still take like north of 50. For
Okay.
us, it took like with so the two parts to it. There is a tech cost angle to this, and then there is a human cost angle to it. K USD right now. which is like what, like 15 lakhs types right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
which is not as efficient, and we are not as efficient yet.
yeah. The tech is going to get faster and cheaper.
Yep.
So what kind of, so who pays for this? Like, what's your revenue model?
Consumers.
Okay,
It's the people who are consuming this is are paying for this.
okay.
And the revenue model for consumer is the same as for any other. It's a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, people see the ad on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, somewhere. They like it. They will come to our app. They will pay for it. Then they will watch the show, and it's
Okay,
a subscription. So yeah, and that's the revenue model.
interesting.
Very
It's looking amazing, by the way. The characters, the and this is obviously early iteration. So, what's
yeah.
the global scene on this? Like, do you have any insights on where this industry is going? What are the tailwinds that are carrying you? I guess it's quite a competitive space. Like everyone's at certain stage, or if you draw a quadrant like the consultants like to do, then
Yeah.
all of those. So, in which quadrant are you guys to off and top and to the right?
Right.
And just generally, if you can talk about trends in the techno business space and how you all are looking at this.
Sure. So I'll start with the format, right? So the short drama format seems to have insane consumer adoption. What
Mm-hmm.
is the format? The format is serialized short episodes with a dopamine hit per episode. Like
Okay.
imagine Instagram Reels or a TikTok, but you're scrolling the same way, but each episode is giving you a dopamine hit, but it is serialized in nature. You're not thrown into a completely new world in every swipe, right? So
Understood.
that is the short drama format.
Okay.
And you keep scrolling till like 60, 70, or when you get a logical conclusion in the show. And that's it. That's the session length that we are seeing,
Okay.
right? That you finish a show, right? So the format adoption has been crazy in almost every place in the world that it has seen. In
Okay.
US, there are players like the biggest players in the world are in US right now called there are also Chinese players, which are the biggest in the US, called Real Shot and Drama Box, and they're doing north of like 500 million ARR in US,
Right.
right? So
What?
those are the biggest players, 500 million.
Damn.
Yeah. And then there is China. China is probably the innovator in this space who has come up with this format and then scaled it
This
across
is the
crazily.
ByteDance Mafia.
It is actually the biggest player in the world is actually this app called Honguo.
Start from the biggest player.
Yeah, the biggest player in the world right now is probably Honguo or Honguo, how you pronounce it, not
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's ByteDance's sister company,
Mm-hmm.
basically TikTok's sister company,
Mm-hmm.
which is a short drama app, freemium monetization, and yeah, people, it's crazy. It owns 50 to 60% of the market share in China,
That's crazy.
and the amount of
And
content
now it's
that
going to
it
be available on Indian App Store, given
it
our
is
new status friendly
probably.
relations with China. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. Cool. Interesting.
And yeah, and most, but the difference in the Indian App Store is that they will have to still make content Indian. Otherwise, Indians will not accept as much,
Okay.
right? They will do
Understood.
to some extent.
Right.
And yeah, that is the biggest. And they have figured that this format has insane adoption. And the way to keep people on the app is insane content velocity. China has this Hongo is getting 3,000 shows a month added
What?
to this app
3,000, not
because
episodes, shows.
shows, yes, 3,000 shows a month, because they have created a secondary industry of production which is so insanely fueled and commoditized the money flow in that
Okay. I can
that
see you going and building cameraman robots in the future.
yeah, but but our thesis is actually slightly different. We are
Okay.
saying we don't need this insane production. We are
Okay.
saying I'll give you the tool to make this with AI, and
Understood.
that is our thesis. We are not trying to So one of the things that we are very, very opinionated on, we are not trying to be Netflix.
Yeah.
We are not trying to be Netflix for short drama.
Okay.
If we are trying to be something, we're trying to be YouTube for short drama. We don't want
Understood.
we don't want to decide what content should be created. Creators should decide what content should be created. We are
Understood.
offering a platform.
Understood. And okay, you will also have your own content on there because nobody knows this market better than you. And I guess you have all the analytics, so you know what's working,
Yeah,
what's not working. Okay. The Amazon for short drama.
yeah, yeah.
Understood. Understood. And are you all investing in any AI personas as characters, that IP? Is this something that you're seeing happening?
Yes, that's something I have to be thinking a lot. But my current running thesis is that this format is not a IP format
Okay.
because it's so ephemeral in nature. Like if you finish a show,
Uh,
you will get the gratification of finishing a show. But will you remember a character in this format? Unlikely. It's like an Instagram reel. What you will remember, best case, is the creator maybe or the storytelling maybe. But will you remember a character? Maybe not.
mm, like
Maybe.
these are your new creators, no? The persona is no
Probably.
longer a human recording
Right.
themselves. It's a human or whatever.
Yeah.
It's an AI generated persona.
Yeah, so we think a lot about this, and we are running certain experiments on this soon to see if IP matters in this space. But it seems very interestingly, I haven't seen a lot of recall value of the content yet for us to double down on any kind of an IP setting yet.
Understood. Now, I would like to talk about what you're working on today and kind of problems that someone who joins Dashverse would be expected to solve in their first, what are they walking into? So, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Right, so problems at Dasher. So essentially, when you join, at least a content site of the business where we are creating the platform for serving, there are tons of problem spaces that you're still figuring out and solving. Chief among them being the entire recommendation system that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Because similar to how TikTok and Instagram actually became viral and actually stay relevant is how their recommendation works.
Mm-hmm.
And figuring out how recommendation works in such a different scenario where your characters are ephemeral, there's no retention value of the actors which are there.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring that out becomes very difficult. And that's an active space that we're still working on solving. How do we recommend shows to users that are interesting, not similar to what they've already seen or
Mm-hmm.
same as what they've seen, and what allows them to stay on our platform longer? That is one of the spaces that we're still figuring out. Another one is deeply technical. Our entire app, so video platform is made by the video capabilities we have, and solving for poor internet connection, better quality of video, and all becomes very difficult. So, going more into the technical side of how a video player works, implementing, working with the bits itself for loading the video becomes
This
more
is not a
important.
solved problem. I would imagine that there are commodity players out there offering infrastructure and hosting and whatnot. So, why are you
There are
solving this
there.
problem yourself?
So, one is definitely the cost to benefit ratio. It becomes insanely expensive.
Saumyadeep,
Yeah,
I can hear your keystrokes.
sorry.
Okay. Or mute yourself when you do that.
So,
Sorry, Anmol.
yeah, one of it is the cost to benefit ratio.
Mhm.
At one point, it just becomes too expensive to outsource the entire player. And secondly, it's the control. So there are certain assumptions which are made with the commercially available players, which restrict you in terms of, say, the CDNs you can use, the type of content you can stream, as well as the code functionality. For example, if you decide that you want to break your video into smaller chunks and then serve, like sort of how Dash HLS works, it becomes very difficult to incorporate it with set expectations that some commercial offering has.
Mhm.
And any of the companies which have actually solved this have not publicized their offerings. And That is because this is a very core IP for the company.
Hmm.
Having a player which works extremely well and is very performant
Hmm.
is usually tons of R&D and effort to get it out.
Seriously, seriously, and the web formats don't make it easy either.
No. In fact, another thing which we have been exploring now is the entire transcoding pipeline.
Hmm.
So figuring out how to get like in just a video, all of our source videos are in about 1080p to 2K kind of formats, which means each episode, even though it's just 2 minutes, can be close to 4 to 500 MB each.
Hmm.
And how do you compress it without losing quality and serve it to even poor network areas? Because at the end of the day, if you're targeting India, beyond tier one, when you start moving towards the tier two, three, and four cities, the network coverage starts becoming worse and worse, and you would
Hmm.
want to provide a smaller video format or file size. So, figuring out a pipeline which actually allows us to compress the video to the maximum without losing the fidelity or the quality of the video becomes important as well. And then the entire architecture around it, ensuring that it works seamlessly, it's able to create multiple formats, and serving that is also a very critical thing that we are working on currently.
No, I remember even at InVideo, building a studio itself is a difficult problem because whatever you do, that H.264 format is really bad for editing. And then there's all of the other things, right? Shaders,
Yeah.
transitions, wipes, dissolves. Like people are okay going to cut a little bit of slack for AI, but eventually they'll start demanding
Yeah.
high production quality. So bringing
Yes.
all of that into the mix is also extremely tough
Yeah.
problem. Are you all building this in Flutter or you've moved to React,
Yeah.
Wasm?
Currently, it's completely in Flutter. The
Okay.
decision we took to go with Flutter was one, because out of the box, it's very performant.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to tweak a lot to ensure high level of performance,
Yeah.
apart from avoiding certain common pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, it allows you to have a smaller team managing the mobile instead of having
Not
separate
the
teams for
mobile, the
both iOS
studio.
and
What is the
Android.
studio built?
Studio is
Ah,
web. It's on React.
React and Wasm, Canvas, WebGL, all of that.
Not WebGL yet,
no.
but yeah, it's actually not that complicated right yet.
Understood.
That
Understood.
part.
Okay. And now come to think of it, cinema, motion picture is amalgamation of so many different art forms, right? There's the image, but it doesn't end there. It starts with the script, and you get the image. Then there's dialogue, and there's music. So, how much AI are you doing on the other ancillary parts of it, say background music generation, sound effects, script writing, dialogue writing, stuff like that?
Right. Uh, so we try to not yet get into AI for the storytelling part of it.
Mm-hmm,
For
mm-hmm,
example, the dialogue writing, the script writing, the screenplay. My current thesis is still that that is a creative part.
mm-hmm.
That is where humans understand other humans and to see what will work, and they should run that. We help in production. Now
Understood.
production comes in the moment a screenplay is ready. That
Mm-hmm.
is when our tool starts helping you, right?
Okay.
While in the screenplay you can use conventional chat gpt or whatever I have LLM tool thing to help you,
But
but
you have
that
this
is
character builder and whatnot. I was
yeah,
playing around with your
yeah,
studio and
yeah,
I gave
correct,
a scene and say, okay, I found two characters in this scene. What do
correct.
you want to do with these guys? Oh, so
Yeah. So we are trying to make it super easy to do everything in the storytelling journey, but the heavy lifting is something that we let the human do in the pre-production part of
outside
it.
the loop. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And the moment the production starts is when the we do the heavy lifting of it, which is making sure characters are consistent and you can create a video out of it. And audio is also like we use 11 labs. It's the best right now
Mm-hmm.
in terms of how much you can control dialogues. And then for music and SFX, we use Lyria, which is a Google product, very interesting product. And yeah, together, the assembling part of it, we help do on our tool.
Okay. And what about lip sync and all that? This is a.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Lip sync is something that is still not fully solved, I would say. I
Mhm.
think if you saw the video in Raftar also, there are two things that are still slightly jarring.
Mhm.
One is the detailing or the naturalness of the characters,
Yeah, the
and the
skin
second is
skin
the,
is a
yeah, skin.
problem. It's
Yeah,
going to be a problem for a long time. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
And the second is lip sync.
yeah.
So lip sync, we do a lot of trial and errors and permutations around all the tools available
Hmm.
to get the best. But I think VO3 does the best job till now, but it
Okay.
doesn't allow you to control audio, so you have to do some shenanigans around that.
Is that an area of research for you right now?
Yes, definitely. So
Okay.
the image part, my sense is, so by the way, coming to the skin part, we actually think our next show will not have the skin issue.
Okay.
But
Nice.
but that is when I have decided that okay, it's time we go slightly deeper into the lip sync part. So
Hmm.
that is an area of research we are picking up as we speak. Another
Nice.
area of research we are picking is, I don't know if you have noticed that while we have solved for character consistency,
Hmm.
storytelling needs your environment to be consistent.
Mm.
Like if I am sitting in this room, the room that you see in the video, right, and you're taking one image, one discussion from this camera angle,
Mm.
when you turn, the room has to be same. You
Yes.
can't have a different room then, right?
Yeah.
And that is a problem like I don't see anyone solving. So we have picked this up, and I think our next show will have that sorted also.
So, during when a film is made, right?
Yeah,
There is a department called the continuity department.
continuity.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I know because my wife made her first feature film and I got to see the process up close. And there are things like the actress had her hair tied up and
yeah,
she was wearing a yellow ribbon. And you're shooting the next scene chronologically in the film, but you're shooting it 14 days later because of
yep,
location, right?
yeah,
And you have to remember that the hair was tied up
yeah.
with this yellow ribbon. It's
Yeah, yeah,
insane. That's a
yeah.
very good
It's
point, man. Everyone's like focused on character consistency, but it's like the whole world consistency is.
yeah.
Hmm,
So and I don't know if I am a big Bollywood fan and right, and I look at a lot of interviews, and one of the things that good actors are known to have, that they remember
hmm,
that how they had shot the last scene,
hmm,
so you can be continuous on the next scene, right?
hmm, hmm,
And these nuances are super critical in the storytelling continuity,
hmm.
right? And those are the things that we are trying to solve very heavily
That's
with our
amazing.
tooling.
This is what sounds like a very valuable problem to solve. I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, and
and
it's a
the
direct
whole
dollar value for us.
correct for you, and I'm guessing the IP also becomes valuable, right?
Yep.
So, but I think you all are very quite focused on being a consumer product, though,
Yep.
not a
Yeah, yeah,
lab.
definitely.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Uh, would be great to hear who you're hiring for. The way I'm seeing that your kind of org structure, to use a term, um, is there's the consumer side, the mobile app. You have the same code running in the web. It's Dart, Flutter. So does it run in the web as well in the
No,
same way?
separate.
No.
It's a separate app. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's the studio team, and then there's the uh, backend API platform, ML ops, and then there's a research team. Is that?
Yeah, so the way I phrase it is there are practically three teams.
Mhm,
There is a creation team,
mhm,
there is a consumption team, and
mhm.
then there is the research team.
Okay.
So, and within that, there are, of course, slightly divisions. But consumption team, their intent and core KPI is increase consumption.
Okay.
And you break down consumption into many parts. The creation team, their KPI is to democratize creation as right and
Mhm,
use the tools available being created by the world or by our research team. And
mhm.
research team's core KPI is to push the state of the art of what is possible today, and then what goes and they keep pushing that state of the art.
Amazing.
And
And who are
yeah,
you hiring right now? What's your open jobs?
all three.
Okay.
To give some sense, my consumer team, I think the biggest problems in my consumer team are recommendation
Mm-hmm.
and scale. Like we are growing too fast for us to be able to manage everything.
But
Uh,
recommendation seems like a research problem.
it is, but like I think we are like I think we haven't even solved pre-research known things yet in
Understood.
recommendation to
Okay.
even
Just
get to
implementing
research.
the state of the art
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Correct. Right. Recommendation and scale issues on the consumer side. Creation side, we are looking at a lot of agentified workflows
Hmm.
and agentified feedback loop. Yeah, the day I saw Cloud Code, I wanted the creator on my platform to get the same emotional gratification that Cloud Code gave me, like being able to control everything yet not doing the chores needed to get the job done. And yeah, since then I've been at it to try to build Cloud Code experience for video production.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So coming back to open roles.
Yeah. So this second part is around agentification, understanding the consumer, evals, and because the moment you get into video production, everything becomes subjective. And
Hmm.
how do you build a product around that? So that's pretty tricky. And that is the kind of people we're looking at who want to tackle this. And there is some amount of intuition needed, some amount of evals, intuition converting to eval, some amount of agentified experience, all of this. And the third type of role is a research engineer,
Hmm.
which is for my research team, where I think I already discussed that we are character consistency is a constant problem,
Hmm.
background consistency is a new thing that we are working on, video models and lip sync is a new thing that we are working on, audio is something that I am in early days of scoping,
Hmm.
if we should even pick it up.
Hmm.
But sounds like something we will have to pick up, especially for India, because all audio models for Indian languages, as we open up more Indian languages like Telugu, Tamil, Bengali, that we are looking at,
Hmm.
the models are really bad. Like I can't listen to them.
Understood. Yes, 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 yes.
So yeah.
What do you look for in a candidate? And I want Anmol to answer this after you. Is like what would you tell the candidate that to prepare or to be like that will make you want to hire them? What do you look for?
I think something that I heavily value is curiosity.
Hmm.
Like everything that I you have done till now, have you been curious enough to understand as much as available about those things? That is a definite thing that
You
I
know,
try to
I ask,
judge.
I, as part of my work as a recruiter, I talk to a lot of candidates. And sometimes I ask them, what is special about you? What's your superpower? And the number one answer is curiosity. Okay.
I see.
So I just want to tell the viewers listening that if you think that you are also, that curiosity is one of your strong points, please note that being curious has certain outcomes, which I think Soumyadeep was alluding to. If you could say what, if someone is curious, then they should be able to.
Yeah. Yeah, they should be knowing everything about everything
Mm,
that they have been using. For
mm,
example, something that I have very recently, I came across a candidate that was using Langsmith for their
mm,
job, right?
mm,
And then I went deeper into that. What do they know about Langsmith? How
mm,
was it created? What is the architecture?
mm.
And yeah, that those answers, if you know, then you're curious, just right, and being keep going deeper as much as you can. And
Amazing.
this is one. Second is ownership, like being able to understand that ownership doesn't mean throwing the baton to the next person.
Mm,
It means it means making sure that the job got done at what at the end, like what was the expectation
mm,
from the job. That's definitely very, very hard to find skill in my what I have found my
mm,
experience.
mm.
But that's something like that's of insane value, right? And then third is just caring, like care about
Giving a
your
shit.
craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, just care about your craft. It's that's I don't know why that's so hard to find, but it's just like just care. Like
Don't get me
that's
started on the Indian education
yeah.
system and the pipeline that we have to deal with.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'd love to hear from Anmol. I'm guessing Anmol takes the more hardcore technical rounds. So,
Yeah. Right. So adding to all of what Samirdeep said, those three are definitely very important in terms of the profile we look at. One of the things that I always try to see is if a person is adaptable, that
Mm-hmm.
is, given that this is a very early stage startup and they're just new problems, and you would have to have your fingers in multiple pies and figuring out stuff. Being able to get up to speed on any problem quick is a very crucial skill that we need now.
Mm-hmm.
Because while you might be working on problem A today, tomorrow moving to problem B means maybe learning a new whole tech stack.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you need to be very adaptable and quick to figure out what to do. I don't focus so much more on, say, solving DSA or lead code problems.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to code today, if you have a general idea of what code looks like, how to code, what do good patterns look like, there are plenty of tools that will allow you to actually perform well and scale up in the future. So definitely adaptability and
So, do you
understanding.
allow AI tools in your interview?
Yeah, it's open. Like candidates are free to use whichever tool they want to use.
Okay,
In fact, most
amazing.
of the interviews I've seen people using either Claude Code or
Mm-hmm.
Cursor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
And while it's all well and good using that, you need to be able to explain the code to me
Yeah,
and be able to add features or adapt it to new problems that I give.
and you have to be able to
And
grow the software safely.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
So that is one of the most crucial things that I look at. And yeah, craft is very important. Like if you love what you're creating, if you actually enjoy the process of creating and having something that works, that's very important, because otherwise you are just looking at it as a chore and you're not looking at it as something that you want to, support, sustain, or deliver.
One of my favorite things to do is go to people's GitHubs and check out the READMEs. And from
Yeah.
the README, because that is the most useless part of a side project, right? Is actually no one else is going to collaborate with you on it, or very few people are going to download it. But you still went and wrote a nice README because it is meaningful to you. This, for me, is the mark of a craftsman. Cool. I think we got a nice long discussion. So if there's any final thoughts anybody wants to share on, one second, yeah. So I think we've had a wonderful discussion. Thanks so much for joining this. If there's any final thoughts that you would like to share with viewers, I'd love to hear that.
All right. So one of the things that Dashverse is that if you end up joining or whoever joins, it involves wearing multiple hats,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that whoever's joining has to be willing to take up. You might be working. You're not only working with as a code monkey or just coding.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to be part of the support teams, talking to users, or be the first one to figure out a problem and scaling through it. And essentially, the ability to juggle multiple different tasks is an essential skill that you need to have to work here.
Amazing. Okay. Samidi, any closing comments?
Yeah, I think whether you want to join Dashverse or not, just to be a better engineer, be curious and care about what you're doing. And yeah, I think that's all that is needed to be a great, successful engineer.
I agree. I agree. Everything else follows logically from
Yep.
these two. Great. Thanks so much. I think we can conclude the podcast bit of it now.